Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Seerah class. Today, inshallah, we are starting with the second semester, and we will start with the stage of Medina, Al-Ahd al-Madani, the Medinan era. We stopped at the migration of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam once he reached Medina. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived Medina on Monday. He did not really reach Medina, but he came to Quba. Quba is a small place south of Medina, because if you remember, Mecca is in the south of Medina. So the Prophet ﷺ reached first Quba, and he stayed there for 4 days. During that time, what did the Prophet ﷺ do? He built the Masjid of Quba. He built the Masjid of Quba. So he remained there for 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. He left on Friday. To where? To Medina. It's just like 5 miles. It's not really a trip. Nowadays, of course, Quba is inside Medina. On the way to Medina, it was the time for Jum'ah. And they were in the tribe of Amr ibn Salim. There was 100 people with the Messenger ﷺ. So he prayed the Jum'ah with them. If you remember, before that, there was Jum'ah in Medina. Who used to perform Jum'ah? As'ad ibn Zurara. Were the Muslims in Mecca able to perform the Jum'ah prayer? In Mecca they were unable. Again, this is one of the advantages of moving to Medina. You are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala freely. So 100 people, now that's a large number. Before, they were 5, 6, 10, 20. Now you have 100 people with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now again, remember, all the people of Medina, they are expecting the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to come, because they heard of the news, and their hijrah, their migration was delayed, because Quraysh was following them. So everybody knew that the Messenger ﷺ is coming. And 4 days also in Quba, everybody knew that the Prophet ﷺ is certainly here. When the Prophet ﷺ reached Medina on Friday, from that day on, the name was changed of the city. What was the name of the city before? Yathrib. Now it became what? Medina. From that day on, Medina of the Messenger ﷺ, the city of the Messenger ﷺ. And they say only Medina. Abbreviation, it was Medina, but it was the Medina of the Messenger ﷺ. Now the Prophet ﷺ did not own Medina, but he is the most noble person to be in Medina. So it was called by him Medina of the Messenger ﷺ. Yathrib was the earlier name for Medina. What's the meaning of Yathrib, or why it was called Yathrib? Do you know? Yathrib is the fourth son of Nuh alayhi salam, the grandson of Nuh. So Nuh was the great-great-grandfather of Yathrib. One narration says that after the flood, and after some time, they came and they inhabited Medina. So Medina is very, very old city. The meaning of Yathrib actually is not a good meaning, because Yathrib from Tathrib, قال لا تثريب. Tathrib means what? Criticism. Criticism is one of the meanings. Yathrib is sin, لا تثريب. No blame on you today. No sin on you today. Sin, it means blame or sin. It's mentioned in Surah Yusuf, when their father when Yusuf alayhi salam told his brothers, قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. There is no blame on you today, there is no sin on you today. So that's the meaning of Yathrib. Now, it's not permissible to call it Yathrib. You call it what? Al-Madinah. And there are actually many names. In Sahih al-Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned many names to Medina. Some scholars said 10, some scholars said 29. Of its name, Taba, Al-Jabira, Taiba. All these are names for Medina. Now when the Prophet ﷺ reached Al-Medina, the children, the youngsters, they started chanting the song طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع. Badr is the full moon. The full moon is shining now from that thaniya, that place of wada'. وجب الشكر علينا, and now it is due on us to praise or to appreciate, to acknowledge what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. ما دعا لله دع. As long as there is someone who is praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير داع. It's really nice. I mean, it should be translated to English and it should be made a song. Now, some scholars like Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he said that's not the time when this song was sang in Medina. It was after the Battle of Tabuk. And there is no evidence actually, he did not bring a solid evidence. So most likely that's the time when it was said. When first they were waiting for the Messenger ﷺ, and once they saw him, they sang this song, طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع. Anyway, now the Prophet ﷺ wants to stay in a place. Remember, the companions, the Messenger ﷺ, the Muslims, the immigrants, they left everything behind. And they came to a new place. Their houses, they did not have mobile homes, they did not have cars. So where do they stay? Now remember, the mother of the Prophet ﷺ is from where? From Medina, right? So he has relatives in Medina. Banu Najjar, the tribe of An-Najjar, the tribe of the mother of the Prophet ﷺ, his uncles. So he went to stay with them. And where did he stay? At the house of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu. Of course, everyone of the companions from the Ansar, he wanted what? To get the honor of hosting the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, at that time, the companions of Medina, they were not that rich. Yes, they had some money, but they did not have like palaces. Yet each one tried to what? To take the camel and to take the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to host him. But the Prophet ﷺ told them, leave it, it is what? It is commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will tell the camel to stop. And it stopped at the house of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu. Of course, they did not say like what we say nowadays, first day, yes, we are happy, but then later on, oh, I am tired little bit, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, bring more food. Honestly, nowadays, I mean, we lost that etiquette of Islam, hosting the guests. I mean, imagine, just be realistic. If someone came to you and he told you, I want you to host me for 3 days, what will happen to you? Honestly, I mean, it's really tragic. You may pay him to stay outside because you don't want to stick to his schedule or to his... But at their time, I mean, they were real brothers in Islam. Now, Muslims came to a new place, and I want you to understand the difference. Like in their time, the tribal system was very strong. You were like real alien when you leave your tribe. No one would leave his tribe, no one. You are coming to a new place. The water changed, the weather changed. Although they are not actually that far, Mecca from Medina, but the weather is really different. And the companions started feeling homesickness. Why? They loved Mecca. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he became sick. And actually he used to say poetry. كل امرئ مصبح في أهله والموت أقرب من شراك نعله. Every day, although you are in your family, with your family in your house, but death is nearer than your shoelace. Bilal radiallahu anh, he used also to remember Mecca, and he used to wish if he could see again the mountains of Mecca. Again, that was not easy. Nowadays, even if you migrate, you have your passport, 1 year, and that's it. You are like anyone there. But in Medina, at that time, you are still considered what? Immigrant. You are not from us. You are from another tribe. But alhamdulillah, Islam unified the Muslims. So Medina had many diseases as well. So the companions started complaining. And again, it's not easy. You left your money, your property, your family, not for a better life. Yes, only for your religion. You are coming to a different environment, different people, more difficulties. The only thing that is easier to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not really easy. So the Prophet ﷺ prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make Medina a place for them for residence, to make it the best place, and to bless it as He blessed Mecca, and to remove sickness and diseases from it. And it was removed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to him. It was said that in their dreams they saw a woman, ugly woman, dark woman, left Medina and it moved to another place called Al-Juhfa. So they grew strong after that and they did not have any difficulties. This is Medina in the north, and this is Mecca. Here there is a small city, Rabigh, very close to it here on the red dot. That's where Al-Juhfa, where the Prophet ﷺ prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove the sickness to that place. Very close to Rabigh, here. Okay? If you remember, in the Meccan era, how many stages do we have of da'wah? 3. The secret da'wah, then the open da'wah for the tribe of Quraysh, and then the national for everybody. But it was where? Inside Mecca. The same thing in Medina. We have also 3 stages of da'wah. First, establishing the Islamic state, the Islamic society. That's the first stage. The second stage is the truce with the enemies, or the ceasefire. And this starts with what? Truce of Hudaybiyah, exactly. So we have the first stage. It's all about establishing the Islamic state. And that stage is very, very important for Muslims. Nowadays we are suffering, we are saying we want to build Islamic state. You want the steps? Look what the Prophet ﷺ did. You have a perfect model to follow. Then the truce. After that, the dominance of Islam over Arabia. And that starts with the delegations coming from all over the peninsula to give the pledge to the Messenger ﷺ in year 9 of Hijrah. So these are the 3 stages of da'wah in Medina. Just like we spoke about the 3 stages of da'wah in Mecca, these are the 3 stages of da'wah in Medina as well. Now let's again go back to the history of Medina before Islam. Like I said, it was called Yathrib. Who inhabited Medina before the coming of the Prophet ﷺ and the immigrants from Mecca? Aus, Khazraj and the Jews. So we have 3 groups. What do you think? We have 5 tribes. 2 Arab tribes and 3 Jew tribes. The Arab tribes, who are they? Al-Aus and Al-Khazraj. Who was more in number? Who outnumbered the other? Al-Khazraj. Al-Khazraj were more than Al-Aus. What about the Jews? How many tribes? We said 3. What are they? Banu Nadir, Banu Qurayza, Banu Qaynuqa. You need to know them. Okay? Banu Qurayza, why? Okay, Banu Qurayza, they were the largest number of Jews. And they lived very close to Quba. You know the area called Al-Awali. It is in the south, and it was area of nakhl, of palm trees. They were farmers. That was the merchandise of Medina. Until now, there are lots of dates there. So Banu Qurayza were rich people and there. Banu Qaynuqa, they worked with jewelry. Banu Qurayza, since they were more, they were allies with Al-Aws. Al-Khazraj, they were allies to Banu Nadir and Banu Qaynuqa. Now when did the Arab come to Medina? Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, when did they come to Medina? Do you remember when we talked about the history of Yemen? Upon the destruction of the dam of Ma'rib, when the flood happened, the flood of Al-Arim, as Allah mentioned, Sayl Al-Arimi. When the tribes of Yemen left Ma'rib, two tribes resided in Medina, which are Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj. And before them, there are three tribes of Jews. When did the Jews exactly come to Medina? I have no idea actually. I tried to see exactly when did they come, but I could not get a specific time. Some, they say from the time of Bukht Nassar when he destroyed Babylon. Others give another things. But why they came to Medina? Why they came to Medina? They knew that it is the destination of the messenger. They knew that a messenger, the final messenger, will migrate from Mecca. He will leave Faran, the mounts of Faran, and he will migrate to Medina. So they were waiting for that messenger. That's why they resided in Medina. That's part of the history of Medina. Now, unlike Mecca, in Mecca there were many tribes, that's true, but they belonged to what? To one lineage. They were all the children of Ismail alayhi salam. They belong eventually to one tribe. But in Medina, was this the case? No. The history of Medina was not peaceful. They had many wars. One important war happened short time before the coming of the Prophet ﷺ to Medina, which is called what? Bu'ath. The war of Bu'ath. Now this is as a preparation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to His messenger to lead the people in Medina. The war of Bu'ath was between Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj. The Jews always wanted to wage the war, wanted always conflict between the Arab. Why? Why they wanted that? They wanted always to be dominating in Medina. Now the surrounding areas, there were no Jews except in Medina. So they wanted to be in control. They cannot be so unless they always extinguish the fitna between the Aws and Al-Khazraj. And that's what happened. They start the fitna and they make them involved. Eventually, as we mentioned in the tafsir, the allies, Banu Qurayza, they fight the other Jews, but not directly, indirectly. So the battle of Bu'ath, when it happened between Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, many leaders were killed. Because if the Prophet ﷺ came and there were many leaders, what will happen? There will be lots of opposition. Now let me ask you this question. Why would the Prophet ﷺ migrate to a place where there are 5 different tribes? Why didn't he move to a brand new place? Start from scratch. Wasn't that easier? What do you think?
Well, in that way, they'll be sort of alienated, and the chance to go out and give the dawah, to invite, would be limited.
Good. So you don't want to alienate yourself. Yes?
Olivia said they need some solid leadership in Medina.
They need solid leadership. You mean the support of the leadership of Medina. So by themselves alone, they were unable to establish an entire state, community. Okay, what else?
He said they needed support since they left everything behind.
The same thing. They need support. They left everything behind. So they were unqualified yet to establish entire state. Anything else? Any ideas? Yes.
I guess it's to reiterate. They realized that Medina had some
Potential?
foundation.
Foundation?
It wasn't unorganized. Let's go to a place that has an organization, and we can build on that.
It's a great lesson. Always try to add on, to start from where others stopped. Do not start over. I'm telling you this because many Muslims, they want to go to a deserted place and they want to establish their own community. Now, most of the times, this does not work. Now, the Prophet ﷺ was able to move to a brand new place. But even if he had the means, first, they did not have enough money. Everybody left everything behind. Second, as Hashim said, they will be like aliens to every other group. Now, Islam is not something strange. Islam is the nature. Islam is the original thing for everybody. So try to mix with people. Try to revert them to their true religion. That's a great lesson. Many Muslims, even nowadays, they don't understand it. They migrate and they isolate themselves totally. Now, most of the times, this will not work. People will look at you as a total stranger person, and they will not listen to you. We have a great lesson from Medina, how the Prophet ﷺ moved to Medina instead of moving to a brand new place. Yes, there was something, comment?
Yeah, just the Fatima was commenting about what you said about why because of so many tribes, and she said because there are so many tribes that are able to spread Islam in so many different directions.
Yes, again, you could use them for da'wah. Instead of starting from scratch and making more effort, you already have the people. You already have the people and they help you. You use them. You just steer them where you want them to go. Now, as I said, the Jews came to Medina because they were expecting a messenger. And they had his description. Did they have his description? What's the evidence?
They are the ones who told the Arabs.
Exactly. I want an evidence from the Seerah. We took that in the Meccan era, when the delegation of Mecca went to Medina to ask them. And they told them to ask 3 questions. What about these 3 questions? Were they answered or not by the Prophet ﷺ? Yes, so they should have known that he is a messenger. One of their greatest scholars, his name was Abdullah ibn Salam. Abdullah ibn Salam was a rabbi, he was a righteous person, and he was expecting a messenger. Now, first of all, the Jews heard that the Arab are expecting the messenger, and he was amongst them. First, this was a shock for them, because they were expecting him from them, from the Jews, from Bani Israel. So that was a factor that they did not accept him. When he came to Medina, did they have his description or not? They had his description. Abdullah bin Salam, he says, by Allah, the moment I looked to the face of the Messenger ﷺ, I knew that his face is not the face of a liar. And he believed in the Messenger ﷺ. However, he was a very wise man. He told the Messenger ﷺ, O Prophet of Allah, my people, the Jews, they lie, they deceive. So if you told them that I believed, they will degrade me, they will not respect me. Before you tell them, ask them about me, who I am. What do they consider me? So the Prophet ﷺ called on the Jews, the rabbis, and they came. And he asked them, do you know Abdullah bin Salam? They said, yes. He said, what's his rank? Who is he? And they said, he is the best amongst us, and the son of the best. He is the most righteous person, and the son of the most righteous person. So they gave everything perfect. So Abdullah bin Salam came. Before that, the Prophet ﷺ told them, what if he believed in me? They said, we seek refuge with Allah from that. So Abdullah bin Salam came and he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I testify, I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that he is the messenger of Allah. They said, he is the worst amongst us. He is insane. And see what happened? So they did not believe in him. They did not believe in the Messenger ﷺ. But their rejection was out of ignorance or arrogance. Arrogance. Very similar to the Arab. Even the Arab, now many of them was ignorance, but also many of them was arrogance. They knew that he is a messenger. So don't think that Medina, everything was easy, everything was perfect. This is a challenge. You have 3 tribes of the Jews. What about the Arab? Again, the same thing. Abdullah bin Ubay ibn Salul. Who is Abdullah bin Ubay ibn Salul? He was the man who was supposed to be the leader of Medina. The Prophet ﷺ, just shortly before he comes to Medina, they were intending to assign him as their leader, the leader of Medina. Actually, it was said that they were sewing his crown and his garments as the leader of Medina. With a man like that coming to Medina, what do you expect? There will be a challenge. What if there were 5, 6 people like him? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped his messenger by the battle of Bu'ath, where many leaders were killed. But again, it was not 100% paved. The way was not 100% paved. There were many challenges. And that's always the case in da'wah. Yes, relatively, compared to Mecca, it was easier in Medina. But that does not mean everything is okay. You still have to struggle. There are many things. So now, the Prophet ﷺ reached Medina. What did he do? He rested in the house of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. Next, what did he do? The first thing was what? Building the masjid. Building the masjid. He built the masjid in Medina at the same place as it is nowadays. Even now when you go, you see on the pillars, they tell you that's the same masjid at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Of course now it's expanded more and more, but the exact masjid is still until now. And even the mihrab of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Prophet ﷺ used to stand himself, you could stand on the same spot. Now in Quba, the Prophet ﷺ did what? He built a masjid. In Medina, he did what? Built a masjid. Again, the masjid is not only prayer area. You need to understand the significance of the masjid. It's the center for Muslims. Your meeting place, your everything, you take a decision, you go there. That's where you start from. So, in order for us to establish strong Islamic community, we need to start from the masjid. What's the role of the masjid in your life? Do you even know the masjid? Now, some Muslims, they don't even know where's the masjid. They go there once a month or once a year, twice a year for Eid, or even they don't go. How you expect to establish a strong state if you don't have the masjid? And that necessitates that the Muslims, they maintained praying. They established the prayer. Prayer for them was very important. So the masjid was built. How the masjid was built? The Prophet ﷺ was sitting on his chair and giving the commands, you do this, you do that. He started with himself. They found the land. It belonged to two young boys of Medina. And what's a greater honor than donating your place to be the masjid for the Messenger ﷺ and the companions? Is there any greater honor than that? They wanted to give it for free. But did the Prophet ﷺ take it? No. Why? He had piles, stacks of money. They were in difficulty. They needed every effort. But you don't compromise. You show appreciation. Don't let someone comes later on and tell you, oh, I gave you this money. So the Prophet ﷺ was the perfect leader. He paid them. Although they wanted to give it for free, he refused. They gathered the trunks of the palm trees at the front. So it is the Qibla, these palm trees. There were some graves for the disbelievers. It was removed from there. And the area was prepared. That was the masjid. Where was the Qibla at the beginning? Towards Jerusalem. So if Mecca is here and Medina is here, the Qibla was where? That place. Then it was moved to Mecca. After how much time? How long it took to move the Qibla? 16 or 17 months. 16 or 17 months. Okay, so now the masjid is built. It is ready for prayer. Muslims, they were a lot, more than 100. As I told you, 100 only prayed the Jum'ah. Now they want to know there are 5 specific times for prayer. It's already decided from the trip of Isra and Mi'raj. How to gather the people. This is a challenge. How to gather the people for prayer. The Prophet ﷺ sat with his companions suggesting, what do? Some of them said, we have a bell and we ring the bell every time the prayer comes. They liked this suggestion. They did not approve it. Another person said, we blow a horn. And they did not agree. How they agreed on the adhan? What happened? Yes. Came in a dream. To the Messenger ﷺ? To whom? Umar ibn al-Khattab and another? Salman al-Farisi. No. Abdullah ibn Zayd al-Ansari radiallahu anhu. Abdullah ibn Zayd, he saw in his dream the call for the prayer. Now, it was easy for Jibreel alayhi salam to come to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Right? Wasn't it easier? Hello? Jibreel alayhi salam comes to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he tells him, you do this and you do that. Why didn't it happen? What do we learn from the story of the adhan? Why it has to come in a form of dream to one of the companions, not even to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Yes. Greatness of this companion. But he was not the greatest companion. I mean, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is better than him. Umar radiallahu anhu is better than him. There is a great lesson. Yes. Show shura. That's one of the lessons. To teach you, you have to work it out, your own issues. Do not depend in everything on others. Now this is your own issue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mandated prayer. Now you need to work out how you gather people. If you don't find a solution, that means you will not have a successful da'wah. There is a great lesson here. Subhanallah, how it came through the adhan, through the dream, to one of the companions, to involve them as well. Nothing, do not wait. Do not, every time, where is the leader? You need sometimes to take the initiative and to decide by your own self. Do not wait everything from others. So, the adhan was seen in the dream of Abdullah bin Zayd al-Ansari radiallahu anh. He came to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, telling him that this is what he saw in his dream. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam approved it, and from now on, the call for the prayer was established. Who was the caller for the prayer? Who was the mu'adhin? Bilal. Why not Abdullah? Who saw the dream? Abdullah or Bilal? Abdullah bin Zayd. So he's more worthy. He deserves to call the prayer. The Prophet ﷺ told Abdullah, teach it to Bilal. Again, shura, community. I help with one thing, you help with the other thing. The Prophet ﷺ told Abdullah bin Zayd, teach it to Bilal because Bilal has better voice. أندى منك فإنه أندى منك صوتا. His voice is stronger, better, so teach it to Bilal. What did Abdullah say? No, I am the one who saw the dream. Was this the reaction of Abdullah bin Zayd? What do you learn from this? Submission, of course. The true followers to the Prophet ﷺ. What else? Yes. Yes, speciality. This is a secret of success. You are specialized in this thing. You may not be good in that thing. Your field is education. Contribute in this field. Do not involve yourself in financial issues. You will ruin them. That's important lesson we learn from the time of the Messenger ﷺ. Don't try to be the man of everything. You cannot. Even the companions who are better than you. Okay, you specialize in one thing. Yes?
Yeah, I was going to say cooperation, and Redsky also said teamwork, and that they didn't have any ego.
Of course, you cannot have ego. Successful da'wah should be without ego. Cooperation. We help each other. Exactly, that's what happened. These are necessary steps we need to agree on anytime we want to establish a small project or bigger project. No wonder why many communities, they are failing and they complain and they blame others, enemies. You have to start within your own self. Yes?
Now, Zuhair is saying that the leader should assign the duties according to the abilities of the people.
The leadership assigns the duties according to the abilities of people. Exactly. That's again an evidence of the greatness of the Messenger ﷺ as a true leader. He knows you are capable of this. He is capable of that. Again, look at Abdullah radiallahu anh. He did not say, no, I am the one. I learned the adhan, so I have to do it. Nowadays, you want to do everything. You want the appreciation for everything. Let others do the job. Fine, alhamdulillah, you founded it. Let others. Yes?
Yeah, and Fatima was saying that it shows that they didn't have any racial problems.
Yes, they did not have racial problems. There were some racial problems, but it was eliminated later on. They tried to overcome these things. Exactly, that's very good. Okay, now this is the first step, building the masjid. Now the second step. Again, these are very important steps. The brotherhood between the immigrants and the Ansar. And with this, we will stop here inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.